Randfontein now on Gauteng's West Rand, where residents have been forced to flee their homes amid an escalating illegal mining crisis. Many of them are now sheltering at a local community hall and are once again appealing for urgent intervention. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko has been tracking that story. And in fact, Ziniko, it's a story you've been tracking for some time. It certainly isn't new, the scourge of illegal mining, particularly in that area.
It's definitely not a new problem that is really facing this particular side of the province. This is the West Rand. We know that, historically, the West Rand in Gauteng has always been known for its mining operations dating back to the early 60s. And what we've seen now in the past 10 or 20 years or so, that some of those old mine operations have been taken over now without, proper closure of these mines. Illegal miners have taken that space and, of course, operating. And now, obviously, as they're operating within or closer to these communities, they are bound to then, find shelters in communities that are really surrounding those mining operations. We're actually still in that informal settlement called Sporong. So we've also been told that there was a shooting in November 2025 where the owner of this particular spaza shop, who is a gentleman who was assisting this community in terms of basic daily needs of those that are residing here, he was shot, he was attacked at about in the afternoon. However, he survived. So when those alleged illegal miners could not find anything from the shop owner except the little money that he had in his possession at that time, he then proceeded to this particular family household where it is what it was before it was closed. It was a local shipping. That's where local patrols would come and sit. And when those illegal miners allegedly could not find happiness in terms of getting cash from that shop, they proceeded to come to this particular yard. And there were people who were drinking, enjoying themselves outside, actually outside this particular property, and they started now firing shots. And of course, there were people, 5 people were shot, and we understand that some of them had to take cover to run, find a way to ensure that they saved their lives. But unfortunately, 2 people were killed. But now, if you look closer to the holes that we are showing you through the visuals, those were bullet holes. And there's another bullet hole in the window that we are showing you on your visuals there. But to give us more context in terms of what happened on that particular day, there were people who were also part and parcel of the group that was enjoying, their festive season or their entry to the festive season. I'm going to bring them now to speak to us about what they saw. As part of the people who was around this community at the time.
Yebo baba lana kwakuyi Sunday, then amashop asavuliwe lana kamkhabela lana kunabantu babezihlalele ngaphakathi bezijabulisa la ngaphakathi. Kwaqhamuka imoto zafika zazi3 imoto zakhona, mazifika zafike zapaka baqala khona la eSphaza. Mabefika eSphaza bavalela ubaba laphayana, bamdubula bamkhatha imino 83 bedimanda imali kuyena. Then makhala ibhamu kanjalo kwaba khona abantu babalekela ngala ngaphakathi. From there umuntu wayengaphandle uyena wayidubula edubula abantu abangaphakathi. Then i5 yakhona yadubuleka, then i2 yashiya emhlabeni. So manje lana babuye futhi after sesikhishwe government khona lekhaya sesile kwaba khona umnikazi walana is a foreigner. So umfazi wakhona South African babaleke bonke ke sabuyela eholweni sonke. From there yena baphinde babuye bamphinda futhi bazomngenelela futhi. Njengamanje asimazi ukuthi ukuphi because of lapha eholweni kuthiwa abantu abangaphandle abafunakala.
Okay. Let's bring in Michelle, someone who actually saw those perpetrators and also had to run for his life to ensure that he does not get killed. Ntate ke a leboha ka nako ya hao man. Kopa re tlhalose ntata wena o isevile jwang ke eng o iboneleng ka letsatsi lena?
Nna ne ke tswa fela mo ke tswile ka mo ntlong ka mona ne. Ke tswa mona batho ba ntse ba dutse ka mole banwa. Ke feta mo pela shop mole. Ha ku sheba go morago, ku tla di bullet di lla ka morago. Be ke sa tle ke sheba go morago. Be ke tswa ke Zama straight ya go ntlo. Ire ke fita go ntlo, go fitile bullet e1. e tona ko budima dintlo kwa e be ile o wela ka ke na ka ke kwalla motho ka ke sa tlhele ke tla ka.
Okay, so Michelle, this is what has been narrated by these two gentlemen, saying that actually starting with the first shop owner saying that he was shot at to an extent where he lost about his 3 fingers. They were cut, literally, after he was being shot at. But also the gentleman also is alluding to the fact that this is a household of family members, and obviously one of the owners of this house is someone from outside South Africa, married to a South African. They've since moved to the local hall. However, even though they had moved to the local hall, attackers again returned to this place and also continued also with the shooting as well, but also spoke to the gentleman who is, this gentleman was just showing us that was also here. He got saved by taking cover because he was also saying that there were some gunshots that also, were directed towards this direction, and he ran to his home. So these are some of the details that are coming out from the people who have witnessed this tragedy firsthand, and these are the people now who have been forced to move from this area to that community hall. So in terms of what is going to happen beyond this period, whether some of them are eventually going to return back to this community or not, is something that we'll try to probe with the authorities once we get to engage with them later on today.